All right, Realty Pros, can you guys see me?
Yes.
Perfect. Can you guys see my screen?
No.
Yes,
Don't see the screen.
it's beginning to
No.
come up.
Let me know. Okay, so then let me go back out so that you can see my screen. I want to make sure that everybody can see that there. All right, how about now? Can you guys see my screen?
It's coming up.
Yes. Well, it's loading.
Okay,
Yeah, we see it's
perfect.
loading. Now it's up.
We can see it.
It's up
Outstanding.
now.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, let's get started. As we said, Realty Pros, today we are talking about going from being invisible to being in demand. And that when I tell you this market is popping, this market is so hot, this market has so much going on. And our goal is to ensure that every single Realty Pro is standing up under just a downpour of all of the business that is out here in the market right now. And one of the most essential ways of doing that is being in demand, being visible, showing up where people are. Okay. So we're going to walk through a very simple blueprint so you know what to do and what is most important so that your business is bustling and booming. Okay. So, what we're talking about today, I'm going to ask you a question. If someone in this marketplace, if they needed to buy, if they needed to sell, if they need to invest, would you say that your name would come up? If you say that your name would come up immediately, I want you to put a one in the chat. If you say maybe but not sure, I want you to put a two in the chat, right? Because by the end of this training, I want to show you guys how to make sure that you have top line visibility and your name is in the mouths of all the people that you know. So let's get started. People want you to show up exactly where they are. And if people don't know you, they can't flow, right? If they don't see you, then they won't choose you. If you are forgettable, not because you're not a phenomenal person, but because, oh, I haven't seen so and so in this amount of time or I haven't heard from them, then that means that you are forgettable to them. And if you're forgettable, then that means what do? They will replace you quickly with another real estate agent. All right. So there are a lot of agents that are licensed, but many of them are not known. They're not immediately visible in the spaces where buyers, sellers, and investors are meeting on a daily basis. So you want to work, but you want to work to be visible. You want to be intentional to be seen so that when those opportunities arise, your name is in the mouths of all of the buyers and sellers, Shawnice. They will say, hey, I need to call a realtor, right? Because many agents want that 6 and 7 figure income, but the visibility aspect may match somewhere along the $2 line. And I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. Many agents want 6 and 7 figure income, but the visibility matches the $2 line. So today I'm going to challenge each and every last Realty Pro to show up daily online. Because if people scroll, they do. They scroll more than they stroll. You know, the world that we live in today, the vast majority of everything that's happening, it's happening online. It's happening on Facebook. It's happening on Instagram. It's happening on YouTube. It's happening where people are directly on their cell phones. It's happening where they are directly on their computers. So that's where you and I need to show up. Okay. So I want you to put off the former ways. If you say, well, you know what? I haven't been diligent in doing my social media. That was yesterday. Yesterday is in the past. I want you to show up from today. Somebody type in that chat, show up from today. All right. And we're going to talk about what that looks like because your changes today, we're going to go through a 3-step formula so you know how to go from being overlooked to overbooked, right? From unknown to unforgettable. So you are going to be seen, you're going to build trust, you're going to be top of mind. That is what it is that we're going to cover in our training today, okay? So when I say invisible from now on, you are going to say no more. When I say invisible, I want you guys to come off of mute. Say no more. Invisible.
No more.
Or
No
There you
No
more.
go.
more.
Good. I'm
No
so
more.
glad you
No
guys are
more
in
invisible.
agreement. There you go. So now
No
let's
more, no
move
more,
on.
no more.
There you go. Let's build your demand. So, visibility is what creates demand. And you should see on the screen, this screen is going to give you three simple steps, right? Because you can't get chosen if you're not noticed. So, it's very important for us to know three practical steps. We already talked about showing up where people are, right? The second step there is going to be posting market authority content, right? If we're posting a selfie, the selfie needs to have more than just our beautiful faces. It needs to have some message. It needs to have some authority. It needs to have something that makes you memorable, not just a bright, beautiful smile. While your smile might be bright and beautiful, you need to post something strategically. It needs to have strategy, right? Not just something that only says just listed. You need to post something that shows leadership. In our market, you want to make sure that you are going to be local and you're going to be vocal in the market because you don't want to just post people and then go ghost. You want to show your face as much as possible because we know that most of the people who are going to call you are those that see you, those in your sphere. Those are people that are already connected with you, whether it's people in your phone, that people that are connected on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you are on those social media platforms. You want to make sure that you are visible in those spaces because if they don't see you, then they probably will forget that you do real estate when it's time for them to sell their properties or buy another one. Okay. So, one of the things that I'll say to remember is that every day that you are not visible in your marketplace, someone who is less qualified to do the job that you are able to do at an expert level, they become recognized. Let that sit for a minute. You may have a passion, you may have an expertise, you may have all of these different criteria on your resume that says you will be the perfect fit for that job. But if you're not visible, the person who may not know what they're doing, but they are posting and they are visible, they are likely going to be they're likely going to be chosen for that job. So let's make sure that we are visible so that you are getting the attention and the recognition that you need, okay? But visibility alone is not what's going to close the deal. That's just step one. Somebody say that's just step one. So then we're going to transition into step two. If you have any questions about step one, you can take yourself off mute. You can drop some things in the chat, but we are going to go through exactly what we need to do to become in demand. And then we're going to have an activation at the end. All right. So
Okay.
then step two, you have something, Donisha?
I do. Because I keep going teetering back and forth on this with social media. Do you suggest doing a separate real estate business account and invite your friends over into that social media account or just combine it with your personal?
So we do both, right? So it's great for you to have a separate business page. And that's a very powerful tool. You do want to create your business page and invite your friends, your family, and everybody to your business page. But on your personal page, you're also going to blend some business in there too. So your personal page, obviously, you got to show that you're human. You got to show something of yourself so that people you build credibility and people get to know, like, and trust you on your personal page. But know that you have a purpose and your intention is to build your business, right? So you're also going to feed some of the business stuff into your personal page. But if you have that one reservoir that is your business page, then that's all that you see on there. Business opportunities, market insights consistently, then people know that when they're on their business page, they're going to find out what's going on in the market. What is Donisha posting about the interest rates? What is she posting about the real estate market? That is like, it's your personal brand aside from all of the additional things that are going to be posted on your personal page. Did that answer your question?
That is a perfect answer. Thank you.
You got it. Outstanding. Great question. I'm sure somebody else may have had that same question. So let's keep going. So, step two, we're working on building trust. Building trust, guys, because credibility is what's going to create those conversions, right? Not just noise, but credibility. There's so much going on out there that's noise, but you want to make sure that you are credible. And how do you do that? The practical way to build your credibility is to teach, not just sell people. So you're going to provide high value information because anybody can just post. Anybody can dance on social media. Anybody can say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, but can they trust that you are the market authority? Can they trust that you are the real estate expert? Can they trust that you're going to be the one that's able to guide them through that purchase or sell process? And the way that they learn whether or not they can trust you is by the credibility that you build up from the insight that you provide to them in the things that you post. All right. So let's keep going with that. You're going to be explaining things. You know, it may be credit. You may be explaining contracts. You may be explaining grants. You may be explaining, mistakes that buyers and sellers make. But all of these things show that you are a credible resource and they will go to you as their real estate expert because they will say on Donisha's page, I saw that when doing a contract, I need to make sure that I have an inspection contingency. And even if it's a very competitive market, I'm going to do an inspection with, even if it's for informational purposes, only with the right to walk away because I need to be protected as a buyer, right? So now what did you just do for your audience? You provided them with value. And we always believe in giving first. And you're giving them value by providing them with this information. And that's how you separate yourself from the noise of everybody just dancing and you make yourself a credible resource, right? Continue. 2, on here in terms of building trust, you're going to solve problems publicly. What does that look like, right? Be the answer before they ask the question. Can anybody think of something that maybe people in your market might ask, whether they be a buyer or a seller or a real estate investor? Think of some things that they ask based on questions that you may have had asked to you, conversations that you may have heard, or even using your online resources to search. What are the top 20 questions that all buyers have in the real estate market or sellers have in the real estate market? And then you publicly solve those. You provide those insights. You provide those answers so that when that question is had, they know, oh, let me go to Pat Lancaster's Facebook because I saw that she's been providing relevant market information, and this is exactly what I needed. All right. So you're solving those problems for them. You're providing that value. So your name becomes part of that conversation and your credibility is built even when you are not even in the room. Your post is in the room. All right. So then next, you want to do this to build credibility. Use testimonials and proof of success, right? Because when you show your testimonials or you show you're just listed, you show you're just sold, you show you're under contract, you show things that you've already done, then now people know that you are much more than just somebody saying, work with me. You're somebody that has a track record of success. And guess what? Success leaves clues. So if you were able to help that person, then in the mind of the next person, now I know that Gina can help me. So very important in terms of building credibility. These are things that you want to post. Because Donisha asked a very good question in terms of a public page versus a business page. And on your on your personal page, you can post whatever you want. But on your business page, you need to be intentional to post these things routinely. But even more so, you want to connect the two of those so that you're tagging yourself. So even if you're posting on your public page, you're tagging your business page so that you are leading more people to go and look at your business page. Or if you're posting on your business page, you're tagging your personal page so that you are leading people to your personal page. So help create that bridge so that they can see your credibility is defined across whether it be your personal or your business because you are adding real value. All right. Very important to know. So, one of the things that I'll say is that facts tell, but trust sells. And it's very important that you are building trust by doing these things, by teaching people more. And when you teach more, you get to chase less. And when you solve the problem, they will call you because they know that you have the solution. Somebody type in that chat, I have the solution. Because not only do you guys have all the resources that you could ever need at your fingertips, you have your brokerment library, you have your broker, you have your fellow realty pros, you have online, you have ChatGPT, you have YouTube University, you have so many different resources that you can help to solve almost any problem that a person will have. If you don't know the answer, you can reach out to another person who can assist, like Mr. Porter was saying, even in the commercial space, reach out to your principal broker, right? But all of us have the ability to be a very credible resource because you do your due diligence of doing the research first. All right? Very important to know. So let me ask you guys this because as we're talking about just building trust, what would you say sells more? What closes more? Pressure or trust? Put a one in the chat if you think applying pressure. Use me to sell your property. Use me to buy your property. Call me today. Call me tomorrow. If you think that pressure closes more, put a one in the chat. But if you think that trust closes more because you're providing this information, you're teaching, you've become a credible resource, then I want you to put a two in the chat. Because this is how you attract people to you as a real estate professional so that you no longer have to chase leads. The leads will call you. All right. Very important to know. Great job. I see you guys. I see you guys are getting it. I see you guys know that it's going to be better for you to build trust because that's what's going to close more deals for you. All right. So let's continue. And
Jasmine, before you go on, I put a 12 in the chat.
you put a 12 in the chat.
Yeah,
So tell me what that 12 is. That's a one
I'm a,
and a two. I know
yeah,
how you roll.
I want them to trust me, but I'm gonna still put pressure on.
And listen, that works as long as you're adding value. That's good because your knowledge is going to build authority, not just noise, but the knowledge that you're providing to people. And it's very important because in the day and age that we live, people can chat GPT, Google anything, look things up, and without them having the proper frame of reference, context, experience, or history behind it to understand and decipher the information that they're consuming, they will be all the way off on the tangent and they will think something that is completely far-fetched from reality. But when they have the expert who works in this field to provide that information for them, now you become a trusted resource.
Can I elaborate a little bit about
Yes.
what I'm saying? Okay, guys. So what Jasmine's saying is 100% true. If you've already built the trust factor with a person who is interested in potentially doing real estate, you've built the trust. They know that you are the person to go to, but they're still on the fence. You gotta sometimes hold their feet to the fire, and I've said it to many people, and it's been successful, and I put pressure on them after I built the trust. And I say, you've said this to me for quite some time, but I haven't seen you move forward at all. So I feel like at some point, I feel like I'm wasting my time with you, and I don't want to continue to give you information that you're not going to do anything on. So if you're ready to capitalize on it now, let's make this first step. Let's take this first step today. That's the type of pressure I mean. So I'm not saying that you negate the trust. You have to build the trust, but at some point you have to know, and you have to be bold enough to let the person know. You know that they trust you. You know that they believe you. They know that they like you and all of that stuff, but they haven't done what they said they're going to do. And I've been known to even do that with our agents. If you know all of this information, then now you're just analyzing it is paralysis. It's called analysis paralysis. You just thinking about it and you haven't done anything. Now you got to go ahead and start the process, and a lot of people are afraid of the process because they think there's going to be pain involved in the process, like spending money. And I tell them, yes, you're going to go through the process and the pain in order to reach your goals. You have to just be matter of fact about there is a process. You're going to have some, hiccups and all of that stuff. You're going to have some things you have to overcome, but let's start the process. Take the first step. Let's look at the property. Let's go get this loan. Let's put the property on the market. Let's lower the price. Whatever that process looks like, you have to, have that person that you say, I know you trust me, but now it's time to do something. So that's what I meant when I said 1, 2.
Outstanding, Mr. Porter. And we appreciate that because Mr. Porter is talking about diligence and follow up, guys. And that follow up is key. That follow through is going to be what actually brings about conversion, because some people, they're going to go through this process. Now they know you, they like you, they trust you. But if you do not follow up with them and follow through until you convert them into a buyer, then all of this would have been for naught. So absolutely, Mr. Porter. And that's for every Realty Pro. You have to follow up and follow through. So excellent. I'm so glad that you said that. Now, is there anybody that has a key takeaway, a question, or something to add to the conversation before we move on from this page of building credibility and building trust?
I'm going to say get them to like you, and then they trust you because of what you've shared, information you have, the solutions to their problems.
I love it.
Listening to what they have to say and not always putting in your opinion is key, because that shows that you are also listening to them. A lot of people want to be heard and not just to tell them what they need to do. So listening to your clients is very important.
Excellent. Who else? All right. Then we're going to move on to the next page. Now they see you, right? Now they trust you. But then here's our challenge. We're going to move on to the next step in this, because the next step 3 is going to be remaining top of mind. Because you've done all of this. You've gotten their trust. They know you, they like you, they trust you. You've listened to them. Now you're following up with them consistently. But now, how do you remain top of mind? Because it's the consistency in what it is that you're doing that is going to bring about the demand that you want. The consistency in you adding that value, the repetition, the consistency in everything that you're doing. This is where your gold mine is. And this is where that follow up and follow through and everything that Mr. Porter mentioned, this goes hand in hand with that conversation. All right. So this is where the practical application comes in. You are going to follow up like a professional, right? Because agents that are remembered, they get referred. If I remember your name, Faith, then I can refer you. If I remember your name, Denise, then I can refer you, right? So you don't need everyone to buy today. You need them to remember your name when they are ready to buy, right? So this is so important. You want to follow up like a professional with calls, with text, with emails, with video message. This is how you consistently follow up with people. And this is what Mr. Porter was talking about. He's saying 1 and 2 because he's going to add that value, but then he's going to stay on them until they convert, right? If you call them, that's perfect. You might have a text, hey, and especially for everybody who's received leads that were WMATA leads from the expo that we did, we had 81 registrants. So you should be following up with somebody. If you want leads and you did not receive leads, we can absolutely provide you with leads. We just require that you be diligent to follow up with them. And we talked about the follow-up. Conversion happens between the 8th and the 12th follow-up. Somebody put that in the chat, 8 to 12. In fact, everybody who's able to put that in the chat, put it in the chat. 8 to 12, right? Because that's where the magic happens, guys. If we think that, oh, somebody reached out and said they were interested, and all I got to do is call them one time and wait for them to call me back. Oh, well, they didn't call me back. I don't want to be a bother. Well, I text them, they didn't respond. Maybe they don't want to buy a house anymore. Absolutely not. That is not the way that top agents convert leads. It is your consistency that's going to create that demand. It is you following up like a real estate professional, a professional at following up like a machine. Your consistent calls, text, emails, video messages. That is where the conversion is going to happen, right? This is what creates your image in their mind as somebody that they can trust. Because if you miss opportunities to follow up with them, and if they want to do business with you, what's going to be at the top of their mind? Is this person about business? You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you are building your resume as a professional that is going to call, text, email, do everything necessary to remain top of mind. All right. Very valuable. The fortune is in the follow up. And you've heard us say that many times. So stay ready and stay steady as it pertains to that follow up. Resist and junk the notion that if they don't call me back and I called them, I text them twice, then I'm just going to let them go. And when they're ready, they'll call me back. Absolutely not. 8 to 12 follow ups. After that, then you put them on a drip campaign. So you never discard them. Right? You put them on a drip campaign afterwards so that they're receiving at least 33 touches from you on a yearly basis. And that includes your newsletters that are going to be emails on a monthly basis. Happy, whatever the holiday is, New Year, 4th of July. So they should be seeing your face on a consistent basis so that when they are ready, they think of you. All right. So don't disappear. Stay top of mind. Let's keep going because this is where you're going to create your signature presence, your colors, your slogans, your style, your voice. And the beautiful part about it is Porterhouse has branded so much in terms of our marketing, in terms of our elevated brand presence, in terms of our colors, in terms of our slogan, because you deserve the best, in terms of our elevated style and marketing. You guys are Porterhouse. So all you do is you blend right into that, and your clients will see you as a real estate professional of excellence who can provide a premium level service, who has excellent insight and information as a professional, and you simply continue to build on what we've already built. All right. So your repetition is repetition without annoyance, as long as it adds value so that they associate real estate with you. And I will say that again. When you add value in your follow-up, then it's not annoying. If you're just saying, hey, and you're just trying to get their attention, people might block you. But if every time I receive something from you, you're providing me with market insights, you're providing me with updates, you're providing me with opportunities, you're providing me with more detail, maybe on a program that I was interested in. Maybe you're providing me with the interest rates. Maybe you're providing me with what's happening in my community now. Maybe you're providing me with a comparative market analysis, right? Maybe you're providing me with little known secrets that buyers don't, if they knew, they would come out on top, or the secrets to help sellers to position their homes to win. Those are things that add value. And guess what? If you're adding value, then I will be consuming your content, even if I don't respond yet. Because what happens in the market is people start to shop online well before they're ready to actually pull the trigger. So what you'll notice is because the person is interested in it, they'll go onto your site. They'll click onto your link. They'll maybe participate with your post. Maybe they'll reach out. They'll register because they are interested. And when people are interested, they're in multiple phases. Some are in a phase where they need to take action immediately within the next 3 months. Some of them are in the next 6 months. Some of them are in the next 9 to 12 months, but you find that information out by your follow up with them in whatever process they are in or whatever part of the process that they're in. It is your consistency that's going to have them to call you when they are ready. All right. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts on this slide before we move on?
Yes,
One of
I'm
the,
sort of wondering.
hello, Bryce.
Hi, Jasmine. I'm sort of wondering what types of insights and updates and sort of programs I can be sharing with people. I think if I kept, kind of like a detailed file, or just like a transcript of conversations I've had with prospective clients, like that would be a kind of a good way to, you know, um, stay up to date with their needs and interests. But yeah, insights and updates. I'm kind of curious about how you might go about that when following up with people.
Excellent, excellent. So I want you to do this, Bryce. Do you have Chat GPT on your phone just yet?
Yeah, I do.
Excellent. Go to Chat GPT and tell it to act like a real estate agent in and put your market, whatever your market is, right? So you're licensed in Maryland, but also in Virginia. So tell it to act as the top real estate professional in the Maryland and Virginia market and provide you with the top 30 market insights that are going to be relevant to buyers and sellers in your market. And I hope everybody on the line got that prompt, because whatever jurisdiction you're licensed in, you can provide it with the exact same thing. All right. So do that. And then it's going to provide you with those posts. It's going to provide you with the information that you need to post. And you can simply go back to chat and say, now provide me with a full 30-day post for each one of these content or for each of these topics for this content. And in less than 3 minutes, you will have a month worth of posts just like that. Bryce, let me know when you finish that. We're going to continue. And if anybody else has a question, comment, or anything that they need to get out of this slide before we proceed, take yourself off of mute.
So you said act like the top real estate professional in the Maryland and Virginia market and provide me with, and then what was the next part?
Sure. So top insights for buyers and sellers, or you can say the most relevant information, market insights, something like that.
Okay, got it.
All right. Anybody else? All right, hold on. Let's see. I see we have some. Mr. Porter, would you do me a favor, either Mr. Porter or Miss Pat? Read the chat to make sure I'm not missing any questions or comments in the chat that would add value to this conversation. And we will continue from there. I
No,
see the
somebody
chat
just
is
said this
popping.
is this is so awesome. Got it. Got it. 8 to 12. You're good to go.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
So the theme there was consistency and adding value. Somebody type in that chat, consistency and adding value. And I will say this because I can't say it enough, because I want this to be in the past for every single Realty Pro. So I hope that everybody under the sound of my voice and everybody who will listen to this video afterwards, I need you to take this personally. If you put your right hand up, just go with me, guys. I will follow up consistently 8 to 12 times with every lead before I put them on a drip campaign. Thank you. Now, I want you to realize what you just did, because what you did, if you did that, is you said you're going to follow up, you're going to follow through, because the fortune is in the follow up. And what you never said was, I'm going to stop following up. You never said that I'm going to follow up with them 8 to 12 times before I stop calling them. You said, I'm going to follow up the recommended prescribed amount of times before I put them on the drip campaign, which is going to continue to follow up with them. And that's important because most agents stop after just one follow up, after one contact. And that's why agent B from company Z gets the closing. And this is a person that you'll say, oh my goodness, I spoke with that person last month. I spoke with that person last year and they bought and they didn't even tell me. That's why. So move forward like your future in real estate depends on it because it does. All right. So let's continue. Hopefully we can
Can
get
I say,
through.
can I say something real quick? I don't know if you're going to get into it, but one of the things
Yes.
I want people to keep in mind is that a phone call is not follow up. It should be a phone call, a text, an email, and voicemail. So
Excellent.
those to me, that's a follow up. That's one. So
Excellent.
you follow up, and then it has to have some urgency. I see that you've been on the website. Your time is impeccable. We have some great programs. I love to hear about what you're interested in. Give me a call. Give me a call back. Give me a text. Give me an email. Let me know what you're thinking about, and I can guide you in the right direction.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Porter. The key there is that it was active, it was intentional, and it was not passive. Intentional. You are going to follow up until you connect with them. All right, guys. I love that. So thank you so much for bringing that back top of mind, Mr. Porter. All right, next we're going to talk about the visibility blueprint because we talked about consistency, we talked about follow up, we talked about being top of mind, but what does that visibility blueprint need to look like? We want to go where the attention lives, guys. This is so important because if you want to be in demand, you want to show up where people already are. And the top platform for visibility in this market is going to be ding, 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 no other than Facebook. Somebody type in that chat Facebook. And for anybody that says, well, I don't like to be online, I don't want to be on social media, at this point, I need us to get over it. Because if being visible is cringeworthy to you, then what you're saying is you don't want to be in demand. So there's some things that we've all had to do that were productive, that were necessary for our growth, that may not have been, it may not have been innate to us. We didn't come with a passion for it or an ability for it. But guess what? You learn, you grow, you do, and you pursue the things that are going to be most beneficial for your business. All right. So with Facebook, if there's community there, it builds conversation, conversions, and all of those things. And it's where relationships start, right? This is where relationships still move the market, family, friends, referrals, community groups, local influence, all of these things happen right on Facebook. And it's best for local authority. It's best for storytelling. It's best for market updates, community presence, referral business. If people do not see you on Facebook, then guess what? When it's time for them to purchase or sell, who do you think they're going to call? They're going to call that agent that's always posting on Facebook. They may have known you for 15 years, but the person who's always in their eye gates, that's the person that they're going to call. And I'll give you guys an example of this, and this is something that rings true for all of us. If by chance you were looking for, I don't know, what is it that you want to, it's something, maybe a food or something that you want to eat. And you see an advertisement that's coming on all the time. It's always in your eyes. You keep hearing it, you keep seeing it. Then pretty soon you're going to say, oh, I want to, maybe I want to get that. Maybe it's a cake or maybe it's a sandwich. We were looking at a show yesterday, Mr. Porter and I, and it was the top chef in the world. And he had all of this perfectly curated food. It looked like art. But we were watching it and I said to Mr. Porter, I want to go there. It's a place over in Amsterdam. It's something that is very high level, but we're like, I want to go there. I can't wait to go there. Why? Had I never seen it, I would have known anything about it because they were elaborate. They shared so much information. Now it created this desire for me to want to go and enjoy that. And in the same way, when you are visible on Facebook, when somebody wants to buy or sell or invest, then you now become the market authority in that. And they will say, I want to reach out to Bryce. I want to reach out to Miss Pat Lancaster. All right. Very important, because your network is going to be it's going to equal your net worth. So very, very, very intentional. You got to be intentional to post consistently. Educate people. Get to the point where you start going live, right? You may not go live in the beginning, and that's okay, but you got to work your way up to there. Start out with posting consistently. Before we end, Bryce, I want you to take yourself back off of mute, and I want you to tell me how you did with that prompt that you put into Chat GPT. Because in no less than 3 minutes, we can all have a month worth of posts. So if you are posting that consistently, then guess what? Now you're the one that's providing insight and value, and you become the consistent voice in the market. Not yet, Bryce. Hold on 1 second, because I want for every Realty Pro to do what you just did. So hold on just a second there. All right. So in terms of, because I only have a few more minutes, I want to get through a few slides here. In terms of being online, second position is Instagram. Second is Instagram. Facebook is first. Instagram is second, right? And this matters because people buy with their eyes. We just said that I was watching something on TV, something I had never seen, but because we started to see it, it's like, oh my gosh, I want to see it. So then this is a place where you can post lifestyle, luxury, brand identity, and all of these things. It's best for building your brand. You can do reels on there, behind the scenes, visual trust, all of these things matter. Okay, very important. As real estate professionals, you guys literally have the keys to all of the jurisdictions where you're licensed, in a manner of speaking. So if you take maybe 1 hour per week and you go and either photograph or you go and video property, guess what? You have content for the next week, the next 2 weeks, content that you can post for reels, content that you can post as graphics, so that when you're providing that valuable information, it's more than just textual posting, but you also have imagery to accompany that. All right, let's keep going.
But Jasmine, I don't have any listings right now.
Oh my goodness. Do you know at the PG Car Awards, the top agents who won awards there were not the top listing agents? Agents who are doing some of the most business in our industry are not the top listing agents, guys. If you have a license, then that means you have access to every single listing in your jurisdiction. Listen, not only do you have access to all of your brokerage's listings, but you have access to every brokerage's listings. You have access to every new build. You have access to every listing on the market, guys. So I want you to look at it from a perspective of opportunity, right? You have opportunity unlimited. So be intentional. New builds are such a tremendous resource. New builds, they will roll out the red carpet for you to come in and take photos and videos of what it is that they're selling. Be intentional. We don't have a limited mindset at Porterhouse. At Porterhouse, we know that the sky's the limit, not the limit's the limit. So take advantage of those opportunities. Look at your market and say, where are this property is coming soon. It's coming on the market. As soon as it comes on the market, I want to go do a video tour, right? So that I can post this information. I have reels to provide to my audience.
And I say this to my Realty Pros real quick. One of the things that's really powerful, if you look on Instagram and you just get into the real estate space, you'll see a number of agents all over the country posting properties that are not listed by them. They're going through the properties. They're showing you what the properties details are, what they have, what's available. They're posting themselves inside of these mansions and inside of these spaces. And what you'll get the impression is that they are the people they're the only person who has access to those type of listings. You should be that person in this market. You should be the person that's going into those homes, posting those spaces, and having people give you a call. That's the call to action. Give me a call if you want to see this or any other property like this. That makes me want to call you so that I don't have to go through all of the brain work to try to find out where that property is. They never show the address, they show the property. So now
And
I
that's
have to
so
call you.
key.
There
That's
you
so
go.
key. When you are posting someone else's listing, if it's outside of your brokerage, you're not giving the address because you're not the listing agent for it. You're providing the property details without the actual address. And I love that you said that, Mr. Porter. And I want us to continue for the last couple moments to just make sure that everybody on the line has this information down packed. And we will have to get back to the rest of these slides because this is so to every single property within the area that you are licensed. I need that to sink in. So you should be the one educating the market on what's happening. All right. You should be the one educating your market. They should see the videos from you. They should see, listen, we can go into that, but we only have another couple minutes. So I will pause on that conversation and I will open the floor up for a conversation and discussion from you guys. So I hope that today's training was helpful to you. We will absolutely have to pick up on this next week. But if you guys got some value from it, take yourselves off of mute. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your contributions. And before we go, Bryce, I would like to hear from you in terms of what you were able to get from the prompt. Thank you guys for your time today. The floor is yours.
The main thing that I got from the prompt is to resist the notion of just because I called somebody one time, they're going to reach out when they feel like it. That's probably been the biggest